Welcome to the testing world. In this session, we are going to understand distributed testing in Jmeter. So, first of all, we need to understand what is distributed testing. So, as of now, when we are creating Jmeter test plan and executing, so let me show you. So, what we are doing as of now, we are creating a test plan on the Jmeter. Like here I have a soap service test plan, and whatever the number you want to execute, like I want to execute by 5 users, so we are setting 5 users and executing it. So I'm starting my JMeter and open the test plan. Here we have a soap service test case which is called thread group. Inside that we have 4 steps. One is hitting addition web service, other is subtraction, the third is multiplication, and the last division. So we can have any test plan. It's a soap service test plan. We can have any test plan. Now if I'm having 5 users on this thread group, and I'm clearing previous result, I'm running it. So all the 5 users are hitting my server from this machine, from my machine. So 5 users are okay, but if we apply 50 users, 100 users, so in that case, 100 users are going to the server, are sending request to the server from this machine. Ultimately, 100 users are taking resources. It could be hardware resource, software resource, and network resource from this machine, and whatever the response is coming from the server, all the response is coming to this machine only. So ultimately my system bandwidth is limited, my system resources are limited. If I'm applying large number of user, bandwidth will not be able to compensate all the users, so it will take some time to send request, and when we are getting response, so it will become slow response. So right now what we are doing, we are executing our test cases on a one machine, and all the users are using resources of the same machine. So now the concept come of the distributed testing. So for distributed testing, I show you a diagram like when we have large number of users, so we are going to apply all the users from the different machines. So here we can see we have 4 machines over here. We are going to apply load from these machines. So these machines are going to hit this server, and response which is coming to the machines will get back to single machine. So here we have an architecture in which these machines, from where the load is going to be applied on the server, these machines are called nodes or the JMeter servers. So these JMeter server machines are the machines which are going to apply load on the my web server, and that's my Jmeter client machine. This client machine will have Jmeter test plan. We are going to execute Jmeter test plan from here. So in normal terminology, we call it servers, Jmeter server, and Jmeter client. We also call it nodes. So these machines are node, which machines which are going to apply load on the server. These machines are called node, and the machine which is handling all this is called controller. This client machine or the controller is also called master, and these nodes are also called slave. And that's my server where my application is deployed. So we need to implement that kind of architecture. So in that case, load will apply to the server from the different machines. So ultimately, all the machine have their own resources, which is hardware, software, and bandwidth. So all the users will be able to use that. That is one. Apart from it, we can understand like in real-time scenarios, my application will be hit by the different users which are available on the different locations. So if I do performance testing from one system, all the complete load is going to the server from one system, so we cannot implement the actual scenario. So to implement the actual scenarios, we are going to have the different machines or the different locations, and we are going to use these machines to apply load on the server. So ultimately, we can implement a real-time kind of scenario. And for real-time scenarios, we have to implement this distributed testing scenario. So I'm moving to my document, and so first of all, we need to understand what is distributed testing. So in distributed testing, we are applying load on the server from the different machines. Why need why we need to perform distributed testing? So the aim of the distributed testing to implement real-time scenarios. So because in the real-time scenarios, my server is going to be hit by the different users who are sitting on the different location, so we can implement that kind of scenario. And apart from it, we can also apply user from the different machines, so all the users will have sufficient resources to consume while hitting the server. So that's my distributed testing. Now question comes, how we can configure Jmeter for the distributed testing. So first of all the machines or all the nodes, so like here we can see we have these node machines, and that's a client machine, or we can call it these as Jmeter servers, and that's a Jmeter client. So suggestive is that on the Jmeter server and on the Jmeter client, we should have same version of the Jmeter. So I'm going to show you on my machine. I'm going to use my machine as a Jmeter client. So in my machine, I'm going to use Apache Jmeter 2.13. I'm going to use this machine, which is a second machine, which is on the LAN. So I'm going to use this machine as a node, or we can call Jmeter server. So first of all, I'm going to start Jmeter server on all the nodes. So here, as per the document, so I'm coming here on the document. First, we need to configure nodes, or we can call it slave machines. So I'm going to the node. So all the machines which you want to use as a node, go to the Jmeter folder. Inside the Jmeter folder, we have a bin directory. Go inside the bin, and here you will find out Jmeter server.bat. So that's a Jmeter server.bat. Double click on this. My Jmeter server is getting started, and if it shows created remote object, means server started successfully. So as of now, I have started server on one machine. By the same way, we can go to each and every node machine, and we have to start this server. So in this session, I'm using this remote machine as a one node, and I'm going to use my own machine as a second node. So I'm going to my machine, that's my machine, and Jmeter server.bat. Double click on this, and one node is started on my machine. So we have configured two nodes, one on the machine which I have taken remotely. So that is the machine which I have taken remotely, and one I'm using my own machine. So we have two nodes as of now. So if I go to document, this step has been done. So I'm changing the color of this step, like we already set up the nodes. So we have seen like what is master machine. So master machine is the machine which is behave as a controller, and slave is the node machine. Also we can configure slave. So we have started server on all the slave machine, so we have configured slave. Now we need to do setting on the master machine. So whatever the machine you want to take it as a master, you need to do some settings over there. So node I have taken two, one is the remote machine and one is my machine, and I'm going to use my machine as a master as well. So we can understand like a same machine can be used for slave as well as for master, or we can call it same machine can be used for setting as a node, and same machine can behave as a master as well. Master means can be behave as a controller as well. So everything is done, like I have configured all the nodes. Now I need to go to the master machine. So my machine is behaving as a master machine. On this, go to the location where your Jmeter is placed. So I'm moving to the location that is my Jmeter. Now I'm configuring master. So now we need to be on the machine which we want to configure as a master. Here on the master machine, go inside the bin and open a file named Jmeter properties. Add it, and here we need to search for remote. So I'm just scrolling down. Here, here we have remote host. So all the machines which we have configured as a node, IP of these machines should be entered over here. So one IP which is already entered of my current machine IP, because current machine I want to use as a node as well. So one IP is already there. Other IP that I have, so 192.168.1.22. So that's the remote machine which I was using as a node. So as of now I have two nodes, one is my machine and other is that remote machine. I saved it. So my this step is also done. Like we have configured all the nodes, we have made entry of all the nodes in Jmeter property files. So I can mention like we need to enter all the IPs of the different nodes in the Jmeter properties file, and this is on the master machine, so we can call it controller. Now everything is set up. I am on the master machine, so I'm on a controller, and we need to start Jmeter now. So that's my jmeter.bat file. I'm going to open a test plan over here. So that's my SOAP test plan. In the SOAP test plan, we have four steps, or we can say four samplers, and one is for addition, subtraction, I'm enabling it, multiplication and division. So I have a test case, or we can call it thread group. Now I want to execute this thread group to 10 users. If you want to apply 10 users, now we will have to check how many nodes we have. Like we have two nodes. Total number of users. So total number of users I want to apply 10. Nodes we have is 2. And now user entry on thread group. So we need to find out this. So if you want to apply 10 users, so it means total 10 user I want to apply, and we have two nodes. So on each node I want to execute 5 users. So thing is that here we have to enter 5 users. Whatever the number we have applied over here, same number of users will be executed on each and every node. So here we have two nodes. and I have given 5 over here. So 5 users will go to first node and 5 users will go to the second node. So total 10 users will be applied in that case. Now I have done everything. Here I'm coming. So before executing, you can check your node is working or not. So I have given 5 users as of now. So first I'm running all the users, all 5 users on this first node. Just want to check like my node is working or not. So here we executed and let me check. 5 users ran on my current node and we did not get any error, means my node is working fine. Clearing result. Now I'm applying 5 users on this second node. Again I'm going here and let me check that we should not get any error. If we get any error, means my node is not configured. It shows like connection refused, means my connection is breaked. So let me check. So means it might be possible that my node is down. So I am going to take my node remotely. So I'm going to access my node remotely and let me check I'm able to access it or not. So connect. And so now here node is running. Okay, fine. So now I'm running it again. My node is up and remote start this. My test case are executed on the remote node as well. And if you want to check, go to the remote node and here you can check finish the test host on this time. It means my remote node is working. Now we have tested like I'm able to execute my test case, or we can call it thread group, on my current node and all the remote nodes. Now we are going to perform the final execution. In this final execution, I want to apply 10 users, but because we have two nodes, so we have set 5 over here. Means on each node, I want to apply 5 users. So at the end, if we combine both the nodes, so total users will be applied on the server will be 10. 5 on node 1 and 5 on node 2. I'm clearing previous result. Here is my aggregate graph. That's a 5. So means 2 node into 5 means 10 users going to be applied. Run remote start all means use all the nodes now. I'm running it, coming to the graph, and here we see total 10 users are applied on that, because we have set 5 users and it was 2 nodes, so total requests gone to the server were 10. So ultimately we have hit the server from the 2 different machines. Each machine is running 5 users, so ultimately total number of users are 10. We can take one more example, like I want to apply total 30 users because we have 2 nodes. So if we come to the document, if we have 2 nodes and total number of users are 30, so total divided by node, so here we have 30 divided by 2 is equal to 15. So I have to apply 15 users on the thread group. So here I'm coming to thread group, coming on the thread group and applying 15 users. Clearing previous result and now running it again as a remote start all. So here we see total 30 users are applied on the server. and these 30 users are going to the server from the two different node. One node is configured on my machine and one on the remote machine. So by this way we have achieved distributed testing in Jmeter. We are hitting server from the different nodes. These different nodes are configured on the different machines which could be on the different location. So all the steps must be clear, like that is my distributed picture, like how the distributed environments is going to work. These are the nodes which going to apply load on the server, and that is the controller. We can call it Jmeter client, which is controlling all these nodes. And if we talk about the practical working, then first we need to configure all the slave machines. So first we have to go to the each and every node. We have to start jmeter server.bat file over there. And once that is done, we have to configure master machine. So we can call it master. That is the controller. Okay, so first we need to configure the slave machines. So here we need to start jmeter server.bat. So all the slave machines, or we can call it all the node machines, we have to configure it. And these two steps we can set it like, these are not steps, it's just I just want to show like what is the normal terminology we are going to use. So master machine is controller, slave machine is node. So first we need to configure slave machine, where we are starting jmeter server.bat. So all the slave machines, all the nodes, we should have jmeter server.bat is up and running. Now go to the master machine, and inside the jmeter properties file, enter IPs of all the nodes. So here we have entered IP in of all nodes. IP need to be set in under the remote host, and multiple IPs are separated by comma. Once it is done, we can execute our test plan, but make sure the number of users that will be applied to the each thread group will be calculated by this formula, like total number divided by nodes. So in that case total is 13, node are 2. I want to apply total 30 user. We have two nodes, so on thread group we will have to apply 15 users. So here you have seen we applied 15 users on thread group level, but when we see results, because we have total two nodes, so 15 on each node, so for two nodes we have total 30 users which are working. So that's all we have for the distributed testing. Thanks for watching this video.